specific situation? I mean, you mentioned gigs. Is it just generally when you play gigs, or?
So I think any time I'm playing a gig, yeah.
Okay. And you could elaborate on that. It could be a specific gig or event or meeting or interview. You could get it down to the fine detail, time, day, or you could just do a general situation or event as well, if necessary. The second step would be identify the resource. So we know the event, now the resource that's appropriate in that situation. What would be, if you could go into a gig with your mind or your state in any way you would like to choose, what would it be? What would be useful to you going into these gigs? What would you like to be, or what would you like your mind to be?
I want to be like, obviously focused on the job at hand, and I want to be, have a positive, I want to be in a positive frame of mind. Don't be like halfway through a song and thinking about something, some other issues at home or something like that, that you had an argument previously during the day or something like that. You just be like, I'm here, I'm focused on the job, I'm happy doing this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing tonight. I'm putting on a show for these people. I'm going to do the best I can do.
Yeah. Okay. What's key about choosing a resource with the client you're working with? It's got to be in the client's frame of reference or mind. Okay, it's no good me saying, well, is it confidence? Is it motivation? Because my association to confidence may be different to the client or somebody else's association to confidence. Hence, we mentioned earlier, association to branding. It's different. It's no good us passing our thought process on somebody else. So it has to come from the client. And what I would say is, I would always go back to a positive frame of reference. If at any point the client starts talking about what they don't want to feel, then bring them back to what they want to feel. And you're going to come across in some situations, and I certainly do, and I did the other night when I was working for aspiring young professional footballer, I kept bringing him back to what do you want? To the point where some people are going to think, well, this guy or this coach is a bit of a pain in the backside here. Just keep bringing them back to what do they want, and it's got to be stated in the positive. Okay, they might say confidence, they may have a reference point, it could be whatever it is. How do you want to go into that, your next gig or your gigs in general?
Yes, so positive frame of mind. I want to be able to play my best. Maybe there might be a few tricky things I have to do, and I might come up to them and go, sometimes you fluff them, but I want to go in and know that I'm going to play them, well, and get through them. So I think that's important.
Okay, so specifically you want to be in what state of mind?
Relaxed. Yeah.
Okay.
It needs to be relaxed.
Okay, fantastic. Do persist with the client, and it's very important. At no point do you dive in and start directing their mind as to what you think is appropriate or applicable. Because if we do that, it's not where the client wants to be. It's where we associate to thinking they want to be. It's very important that it has to come from them, and we have to get a very direct positive. Okay, and it's always useful having a conversation with them about past situations that experience those feelings, because then we can feed these language patterns back into the process. It's always best using the client's language patterns to build a more closer association to their world, to their experience. Okay. The next thing that we'll do, we know when, we know what it is that we're planning for, we know the resource, so it's relaxed, focus was in there. Okay. The next step, 3, 4 and 5, is what we call, we want to choose a discrete anchor that's going to work for the client. Something they can do that's discrete, okay, that will work for them. An example is thumb and finger. With my sports performers, flick of the wristband. Whenever they flick the wristband, we build a neurological connection to where they want to be mentally. Thumb and finger's one. It could be anything for that matter. So we're doing a kinesthetic anchor. What would be something that you could do almost like a light switch in that situation that would be discreet enough to...
I know some have form mentioned turning a ring or something
Okay,
like that.
turning a ring,
That'd be quite handy just to...
Okay, so turning a ring, so what the client being able to access those resources, ideally in the same situation, ideally, yet if they haven't experienced those same feelings and associations in the same situation, then the next thing, or the closest thing to that, find it difficult. An example is, I was working with a client once, and she, in her own words, said she wanted to be confident, didn't really know what confidence was. I asked her, are there things that you do where you do feel confident? So we just delve a little bit, and eventually we got to things that she could do where she felt confident, yet she didn't think at that point it was still appropriate to what she wanted to do. And I said, well, do you know anyone who's confident doing what you want to do? As a public speaker, she said, I do know someone. Well, how do you think they feel? What do you think they see? So there's no, okay, we keep going until we find the association applicable to that situation. And the elicitation process is about reliving the experience as closely as possible. Because the mind can't tell the difference between a real experience and one that's not real. Think of a scary film that you've watched or a bad dream, your heart starts racing, it's not real, yet you still respond in a certain way. And the key point is, in building the neurological connection to the anchor, let's say we had a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high. The key is, when the client is about, say, 8 or 9 out of 10, on a level of intensity from 1 to 10 with 10 being high, that's when they press their anchor, okay? And they hold it for about 5 to 15 seconds. And in that 5 to 15 seconds, they squeeze or press their anchor, and there will be a neurological connection between the two. Okay. You may want to have 3 or 4 attempts to begin with to build that connection. Yeah, you can still give them an exercise to go away and keep practicing. And you can also say to them, every time you do something well that's relevant to that, press your anchor so you get that association. Okay. In between doing the process, we break state, because we don't want to carry these emotions or these feelings into the next time we do the anchoring process. And how you break state is get the client to think of something different. Okay, one of the ways I break state is to, otherwise I interrupt the client's thought process. I ask them, well, a clear-cut example might be, we'll wash your mobile phone number backwards, and that will might be, we'll wash your mobile phone number backwards, and that will break their state. It will distract them from thinking about what they have been thinking, okay? And what we will do towards the end is we'll test the anchor and see if there is a connection building. Are we on the right track? If we haven't got that connection building, we go through it again. Or possibly we'll talk about the appropriateness of that state. It might be that ecologically the consequences aren't right for them. Or it might just be that we need to experience it more on a higher level to build that connection. But we will get there, you know, if it's appropriate. And then we do what we call future pacing. We imagine taking the client into a situation where they're in that environment, the event, the gig, the sporting event, the interview, and get them to fire the anchor to see if it's working and getting them to state. So I'm going to take you for that. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, you're at, say, 8 or 9. Just press your anchor and hold for 15 seconds, and then gradually release. Release when we get, scale of 1 to 10, once we start going past the 10. Okay, and then as you get to relax and close your eyes and let yourself go. So really relax, close your eyes, and let yourself go. And think of a time where you were really relaxed and focused during a gig. Okay. As soon as, just give me a nod if you can think of that. I want you to relive the experience like it's happening in the here and now. Just imagine reliving that experience like it's in the here and now. As you relive the experience, notice the sights, the sounds, what you were wearing, the people around you were wearing, the colours of the equipment, the sounds, the feelings. And I want to really intensify the experience. As you intensify the experience and you get just before a peak intensity, I want you to press your anchor. So as soon as you get, and hold for 5 to 15 seconds and really let the experience magnify until you get to a peak. See, hear and feel and really the situation. Once you just get beyond that peak, just release and gradually come back to the here and now in your own time, in your own pace. Okay, and you can just gradually come back. If you want to come back, you might want to stay and carry on with the gig. Doesn't want to come back. It's a good experience. A lot of people don't want to come back. They want to come back, I'm afraid. Were you able to connect to that experience?
Yeah.
What was it like to be there?
It was great. It wasn't the biggest gig we've done, but it was just everyone was really into it, and we got such great comments afterwards. We just really enjoyed playing it, and just got such energy off the crowd. And we're getting off the crowd, giving the energy back to them and stuff, and it was just one of the best gigs I've ever been to. It just sticks in my mind as one of my favourites. Played really well as well. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So we break stage, to give you a mobile phone number backwards, and then we're going to go through that process.
I can't even think of the forwards.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. Yeah. Well, you'll know if someone's worked with me or done a course because they know their number backwards. They know they're not forwards anymore. Actually, in a real life session, what I'll generally do is just point the client's mind into a different direction. I might ask them something completely irrelevant to what we're doing just to break their state, whatever it is. Yeah, I'll make it as relevant to the exercise as possible. But just to give you a clear-cut indication of break state, phone number backwards is a classic one. And you'll get people who don't remember it or any other really. But that's done the job anyway. And I think it's really important when you've done the first elicitation and you've done your first elicitation where you talk to the client and get some feedback. Was it appropriate? How they felt like? Where were they? And you'll tell with your sensory acuity, you will get an indication for acuity and for your feedback about the appropriateness of the event and situation, and you can go again. So we'll just go again, take 2. So really relax again and close your eyes, and you can feel your feet against the floor, your back against the chair, shoulders are relaxed, and hear your heartbeat and your breathing and the warmth. One hand might feel warmer than the other. I wanted to re-experience that time when you were really relaxed and focused, and go back to that time again, or any other appropriate time. As you go back, just relive the experience like it's happening in the here and now. Notice what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Really relive the moment like it's happening in the here and now. Any colours, any feelings, any sounds. Just reliving the experience. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, when you get to 9, just press your anchor. When you get to 9, I want you to press the anchor and hold it for 5 to 15 seconds. Just really reliving the experience. Magnify the intensity. Just letting the intensity of this whole experience go for every cell of your body and muscle, and really relive it. Here and now. And just gradually release. And in your own time, in your own pace, come back to the here and now. Okay. Okay, so did anyone notice any physiological changes? Any physiological changes?
I'm no noticed straight away you had a more positive look on your face. You sort of like had a more smile as well.
Yeah.
You sat up a little bit more straight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll notice physiologically when you're working with the client to be very and to be switched on to how they're responding. You know, these are sort of signs to see and to gauge where they are with the resources and the whole experience, and learning to read acuity really, which is key. If your client wanted to be super confident and they started going down like that, what would you do? Other than scream and say, choose something else. You probably think, well, actually, I don't think they're going in the right state of mind. Yeah, so you're looking for signs to support what they want to feel. And it's really being switched on and engaging. So we'll do take 3 and as the third take of the exercise, and then we'll put it to the test. So just really relax again and close your eyes. Once again, just letting everything go. Just imagine emptying your mind into a bin liner, and you can put it outside the room. You can pick it up in a few seconds if you wish. Yeah, you may not want to. Okay, so really go back to this experience where you felt focused and relaxed. Really associate to this experience like it's in the here and now. And on a scale of 1 to 10, when you get to 9 for intensity, you can press your anchor, but really connecting to the experience like it's the here and now, what you felt, what you saw, what you heard, any smells, any tastes, any colours, sounds. As soon as you're at an intensity of 9, you can press your anchor and really magnify all these feelings. And hold, and just really magnify these feelings. You're there, you're focused, you're relaxed. See, you hear, you feel, and really associate to the experience. And you can begin to release in your own time. Just release when you get beyond that peak intensity. Okay. And in your own time, you can come back to the here and now. And we can just quickly break state, put them backwards. Okay, now what we'll do is test the connection. Whether we're moving towards the right direction. So if you were to press your anchor, we'll see if we are getting. Is there any neurological connection?
I'm smiling.
There we go. What
I know this. I don't know what that is.
Have we got the right resource?
Well, I'm not crying anyway. So.
Yeah. And the key is to test to see if you're going in. Is there any neurological connection?
Well, I'm not crying anyway. So.
Yeah. Maybe. Sorry.
He's positive with himself.
Yeah. I would think so. What we'll do thereafter is future pace. So the future pacing would be imagining actually experiencing a gig and having to switch on. So if you relax, and we'll future pace and demonstrate the group at future pace. I want you to think of a specific gig. Is there a specific gig you're playing in the future that you know of? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Any date or any specific?
It's the 22nd of June.
Okay. So if you really relax and just let yourself go, I want you to imagine making your way to the gig on the 22nd of June. As you make your way to that gig on the 22nd of June, you arrive at the destination and you unpack and you get yourself ready. And just as you're getting yourself ready to go on and you're in, and you see some familiar faces and your band members and anybody else that you know that's there, and you know, any colours, any feelings, any sounds. At that point there, just be aware of where you are mentally and how you feel. And I want you to just fire your anchor and just press your anchor and reconnect to that thought process. Okay? And just notice any feelings by pressing your anchor. And just releasing again. Okay. So gradually going back in here and now in your own time, in your own pace. Okay.
But I think definitely.
Your mind, this environment here, we're doing it as a demonstration. So the future pacing would be more detailed. Time, you probably have a time. get a little more information about who'll be there, how many people are going to be in the crowd, at what point will the anchor be relevant to you. So you're very specific about when you want the actual anchor in place as well. It could be in between a song, it could be during. So we would be very specific in the future pace as well. And then you could give the client a sheet to work with to carry on practicing the anchoring process. And you could also advise them, say every time you do something really well that's associated with those feelings, just press your anchor and you'll stack it. It'll get more and more powerful. Thanks for having a go. Appreciate that. Thanks for having a go. Appreciate it.